Always nice to get a smiling face.
Yes, sure.
Okay, folks, we're live. We're ready to go.
Yes, warm and fuzzy. We don't have to the words you used to describe.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the HR Committee meeting for Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. Before I call to order, I would like to welcome Councillor Julie McCabe to our committee. And I'd also like to say thank you to Councillor Bernard, who will be assigned to a different portfolio. So thank you, Councillor Bernard, for all your time here, and welcome, Julie, to our committee. So on that note, we'll call to order. Any declarations of conflict of interest? Hearing none. Approval of agenda. Do I have someone? Councillor Ramsey, Councillor McCabe. It's going to take me a minute to always say McCabe versus Bernard, so don't get me wrong there. Adoption of the minutes. So the HR committee meeting for April 9th, 2024. Second, wait a minute, over in a second. Thank you. Is there any business arising from the minutes?
Mr. Chair, there is.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Mr. Chair, on page 2,
Okay.
it's under approval of agenda. I just asked an update on number of permanent, seasonal, and entry-level staff. So if that's available, no, but if we can just get that sent out to us, just like to have that track the numbers.
So you're asking for a list of seasonal?
It's number of permanent, permanent staff, seasonal, and entry-level. Or it should be entry-level, seasonal, one or the other. Don't need to know, I don't need to know the casual, just I know in the past, we did have those numbers and we compared them to years before.
Great.
Thank you, sir. That's it.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we do have one report today, and that is the CAO performance evaluation to award a contract number HR 05-2024-01. And I'll hand it over to our manager, Emily, who will just speak on the background, and then we will have open up for discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just a bit of background, there was a request for proposal that was issued back in mid-March, and that was to invite qualified proponents to submit their proposals to complete a CAO annual performance review. The closing date for those submissions was April 4th. The CAO's annual performance evaluation serves several important purposes. It provides an opportunity to assess the CAO's performance, assist against established goals and objectives, which helps to determine how well they have contributed to the overall success and growth of the corporation. It also allows for constructive feedback from council, helping the CAO understand their successes and areas for improvement. This is crucial for the CAO's leadership and professional development. It helps to guide them in refining their skills while moving forward strategically with the organization. The intent is for the successful proponent to work with council to administer the CAO's annual performance evaluation over the next 3 years.
Great. Thank you for that, Emily. Just a little bit of the overview. So we did receive 3 RFP submissions for the CAO annual performance evaluation. Those proposals were reviewed and scored by the evaluation committee, which consisted of only the members of the committee at large. It did not include the CAO or our manager, Emily McLeod, as well. So those were evaluated based on certain criteria, which was obviously the approach, methodology, and work plan, experience and qualifications, the cost proposal, sustainability, and any references. During that evaluation process, the team had come together and came to a consensus and feel that we'd like to put forward the submission of MNP as the top candidate. We also had a submission from KBRS, a lot of acronyms, who finished second, and then Flex Surveys, who did not meet the qualifications and therefore were deemed disqualified from the evaluation. So some of the highlights are listed here in the package for MNP. Their approach, methodology, and work plan was very detailed, as the methodology is well aligned with objectives of the scope of work that we put forward in the RFP. Their experience and qualifications were relevant, including CAO evaluations for the city of Edmonton and Winnipeg, and they had dedicated and experienced project team lead with over 10 years of experience in similar projects. So our conclusion is that we would like to have the committee here endorse sending the recommendation up to council for approval of MNP to be awarded the RFP.
Moved.
Second, second, Council?
So the resolution's on the floor? Can we speak to it?
The vote.
Yeah? Yeah. Can we speak to it?
You sure can. I'm going to open the
So,
floor for
Mr.
questions.
Chair, the meeting that we did have included you and I believe Councillor Bernard had submitted his evaluation of the three proposals to you, and then we discussed them. Lots of great discussion. The key point here, it's a formative evaluation. It's not summative. It's not to say, I know, she's A for this, C for that. It's how she can, our CAO going forward can be part of, I call it professional development. I call it improving her weaknesses and strengthening her assets. And I think this is all very positive for the city. And I'm glad that Councillor McCabe is part of it, because she was part of the first round back when we looked at an evaluation for our former CAO. So she does have that corporate background that we can rely on. I was part of that Human Resource Committee, Standing Committee also, but I think she took the lead on it. And I think that we have to make it very clear to council that, I can give you, for example, at the YYG annual meeting this morning, Steve Logie said, you're very fortunate to have a CAO like Eleanor Mohammed because of her skill sets and, her outreach to the community. So this formative evaluation over 3 years will be very important, not only for us, but for her too. And thank you for taking the leadership on it. And let's hope we can get a clear signal from council, because it only looks brighter at the end of the tunnel. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Mayor. Exactly that, that is the objective here, is that, as a council, that we give our CAO an opportunity to, establish some goals and objectives, and this will be a method in which we can evaluate those going forward and give her an opportunity, or anybody in the future, an opportunity to have a framework in place that allows us to assess that and give constructive feedback and identify areas where things are going very well, but also areas where there could be some improvements. So I too hope that the rest of council supports this resolution so that we can move forward and get that framework in place and get working with MNP on that process. So that's the goal and the objective for us here as a committee, to ensure that goes forward. And as in talking with our CAO, this is something that she wants and needs as well from her professional development and her career, and in order to successfully administer the City of Charlottetown Corporation. So really looking forward to the next stage of this process. So thank you. Any questions?
Yes. Thank you. When we did the review, you and I and the mayor and Councilor Bernard, so once we pass this on to council, and if council approves it, then we start, like M and P start their program with that. Like, I don't know if it's going to be similar to the last one or anything, but that's up to them to do all that. Am I correct?
Well, it was outlined in their proposals, so they'll have a particular framework that they'll come in and they'll work with the committee directly. Of course, working with the committee directly, but also with our CAO, and we will help administer this evaluation going forward and help in determining the framework, but we'll have to work with our CAO to determine the goals and objectives that the council sets out before her and build that into it so that we can have those, that process. So I mean, some of that stuff needs to be ironed out yet, and the framework needs to be determined, but it was outlined in their proposal that they submitted. and what
Yeah,
that
and it
would
just
look like.
basically be more interviews, I would think, things along that line, and what every counselor would like to see happen, and what the CAO would like to see happen, and have their ideas going forward.
Of course.
Yeah.
So it will consist of, interview processes with, obviously with council, staff, business community, colleagues of hers. Also, there will be, there's certain documentation that will be in place that will allow us to capture information or document things. So again, it all comes down to a particular framework that we're going to implement. So it won't be just a set of questions that we'll ask, like 6 questions, and that's what we're going to ask every year. It'll be much more detailed and
Yeah, just a
in-depth.
final note, the last time we went to outside groups and other CAOs and other businesses and that, is that still possible, you think, or, like, that's just getting the feedback, like, from someone outside the corporation? But her job is basically to run the corporation from the inside out, and I'm just wondering, like, that's just a thought.
Well, I think what we'll do.
I mean, someone from Stratford, for example, shouldn't have an influence on how our CAO works, or someone from Summerside or Cornwall, something like that. That's just a thought.
Sure. So I understand what you're saying. I think what we'll be doing is looking at what the best course of action where we can get feedback from that would be valuable to the CAO. And if it's determined at the end of the day that soliciting feedback from her colleagues in other jurisdictions is not beneficial, then we'll look at that. But we don't know that at this point in time. She will also be consulting with our CAO, and she may determine that she would like that as part of the framework because she does have interactions with her counterparts across the province or across the land of Canada or the country for that matter. And she may feel that it will be helpful to her to receive feedback and how she's interacting with them as well. More importantly, obviously, staff and council, but we'll work through those in the framework to determine where the best value is in getting that feedback that she needs. Sir, go ahead, Your Worship.
So, Mr. Chair, just my second time to speak to it. This is just moving the resolution up to higher MNP. Can't complicate this. Now, will everybody be supportive? I don't know, but I don't think that vote is indicative of what the process that will follow. The process that will follow will be a formative evaluation to look at where she can improve and where she's strong and make her stronger. That's all we have to look at here. And I think as a committee, a standing committee, we have to make that loud and clear when the vote does go on the floor and we all speak to it, that this is about a tender that was sent out, 3 bidders put forwarded proposals. Those proposals were evaluated, and now we have a MNP as our recommendation. Let's not take this vote, what does it mean if it's 8-2 or 7-3? The important point is, it's just the tender. It's not about who we're evaluating. It's just to get that process. And again, Councillor McCabe knows, back when we looked at this process earlier on with our former CAO, there were, issues about, should we do this? Yeah, we have to do it. As teachers, we're evaluated every year. And you're evaluated on a I don't know, of an annual basis. So that's part of the process. And I think that some members may just get caught up that, what does this mean? It means one thing. We're voting on a proposal to do a formative evaluation on our CA over a 3-year period with the same company. And it's a 360-degree process. So it's not just us, it's our staff, it's our stakeholders, all who lie within the city of Charlottetown. And I think that, MNP, after reading the proposal and the discussion we had, my vote is with them. Thank you.
I just want to ask
Sorry,
one
Councillor McCabe, go
clarification.
ahead.
Thank you. No, because I just want to build on what His Worship said. In order for people to be the best version of themselves in a position, part of that is having a really thorough evaluation to help determine where people would like to be and where they'd like to see things going forward. So this looks like it is a very detailed, I think the committee, I wasn't part of the actual planning, but I think it sounds like this is the best to be able to get the most information and be the best support we can for CAO. So I'm totally comfortable as well.
Thank you, Councillor McCabe. And, we need to got to remember and go back to the fact that we did have this conversation, and it was, this won't be anything new to anybody, that we wanted to bring a framework in place to have this annual evaluation. So this is us doing that. This is the commitment by council that we need. We need to ensure that we have these in place, these evaluations in place, not only for us, but also for our CAO as well. So before we move on, I just wanted to note that we do have Councillor Deputy Mayor Yankoff asked to join and sit in today, so welcome. If you have any questions or comments, you're free to ask away.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just wanted maybe to point out, I was on the hiring committee when we found and offered the position to CAO Mohammed. And like with any senior leadership role, it always comes part and parcel with that evaluation process. And I know anybody in a leadership role would be probably more looking forward to it than not to go through this. And I just think it's a wonderful opportunity for anyone that's ever been in that type of a role to have those evaluations. It's just such to me, I look forward to it as a refreshing process. So, thank you.
Thank you for that, Deputy Mayor, and you're correct in saying that our CAO would want that. She's already been explicit in saying she does want this, so she'll welcome this opportunity. Okay, well, there's no further questions. Any further comments? Questions? The mayor is called. The questions are called. Thank you. We'll adjourn it.
No, you can vote, we're all in favor.
Oh, I thought we already did. I thought we had a first. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay, my apologies. I thought we did that. Okay. Any introduction of new business?
No.
Hearing none? And do I have motion to adjourn? A second? Thank you very much. Appreciate it, everyone. Have a great day.